what's up, everybody? Welcome to We're Offended, You're Offended. I'm Kim. This misogynist is Tyler. And just kidding. I'm kidding. I just wanted to see that face. I can't tell if it froze or if you're just still making that face. If you're holding it that
It
long,
froze.
okay. I'm like, that's some pretty good control there. Okay, it just stopped. That's hilarious. That was a lot of weird face freezing there. Anyway, just kidding about that, by the way, people. Hope everyone's had a fantastic week so far. It is Wednesday, Hump Day. Wow, chicka wow wow. And what?
To be fair,
Oh,
I would have to be a liberal in order to actually be a misogynist. So
well, we did take the political compass, and remember, we do line with the liberals. We're just more identify.
libertarian.
Oh,
Libertarian and liberals are different.
oh, they couldn't have figured out a word a little
Ah.
bit more different from each other.
Liberals can't think of anything unique or actually progressive. No, if they're not showing their assholes to middle schoolers and drag shows, or pushing more crazy psychotic gun laws or just laws in general to affirm a child's gender, then you wonder why there's boys are shooting up schools. I don't know. Oh my god, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's the benefits of being white. I can hold light in my hand.
Oh, jeez. Okay, Jesus. Anyway, even though he wasn't white, so. But anyway, yes.
Isn't my culture.
God. So yeah, so that was an interesting little news article that Tyler here had read just before we started recording about drag queens story hour. Yay! Now, don't get me wrong.
Elementary school students.
Don't get me wrong. I love me a good drag queen. Just not doing their little show in front of children.
Yeah. All right. So before Joe Biden and Justin Trudeau get a whiff of children, what? Oh, those are mine. I'm supposed to be molesting them, not you guys.
Hey, come back. Let me
take a little
sniff.
All right. So let's look at so I guess the liberals, of course, with their cock holster aficionado in the NDP, are pushing for more gun bans, which I don't understand. Like, in response to something that
States.
No, in Canada.
Oh. Okay.
So there's a push on that, and we're gonna talk about that and the lunacy that is these gun laws. These just the consistent pushing towards, if it's about public safety, I'm gonna bite my. We'll talk about that. We're gonna talk about, of course, again, the Liberal Party wants to. Well, they want to curtail free speech online. They don't want people in Canada to be able to speak their mind and criticize their government. So they're pushing ahead with that type of stuff. That I think that's really it. Like, these are big monumental governmental shifts. Hold on, let me
Are you doing a strip show? What are you doing?
now. Oh god. Back there, face.
At least you have nice lights. I look kind of blue. Blue da ba dee da ba die.
Okay, so before we get into that and whatever else might actually come up, of course we are here Monday to Friday. You can see us we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, on Spotify. If you leave a review on the Rumble, make sure you hit the subscribe button on all of those. But seriously, leave a like. Come on. Do I need to make stupid faces?
No, you don't need to. Come on, guys. It gives me like warm fuzzies inside every time I see those subscribers like go up. I actually like jump up and down like a little schoolgirl. I get really excited. So, I mean, do it. It's getting me exercise because you're making me jump up and down. So do it.
Oh, fuck. COVID. All right, so let's get into this quick little one. So Bill C-18, and I'll just give a breakdown of what this is. So Bill C-18 will require tech giants to make fair commercial deals with outlets for the news and information that is shared on their platforms. Fair. So this is a replacement of from television to the internet broadcasting. The deals would need to provide fair compensation. I don't know what that means. Respect journalistic independence. I think Rebel News and True North might want to have a word with respect journalist independence in a diversity of Canadian news outlets, including independent local businesses, among other criteria. The
Why would
bill
they?
allows media outlets
Sorry about that. Why would they say diverse when literally it's only the ones that they want you to see? All the other ones are not considered news. So technically, all the ones that they consider news is all the same. So that doesn't really seem very diverse to me.
yeah.
Just saying.
Trust they don't want diversity of thought. They want diversity of skin color or illusion of diversity. CTV Global, the Communist Broadcasting Corporation, all that. They just want equal representation of one side of the argument.
Yep. Yep. Pretty
The bill
much.
allows media outlets big and small to bargain collectively. Oh, collective bargain, which to an extent, I don't disagree, but at the same time, I'm more of a fan of meritocracy, not this communist type of union stuff where the absolute failures of a group get sheltered. This is fundamentally fairer for Canadian news media. I don't need to read anymore. I don't need to. They said right there, have said everything that I want to know. This is fundamentally fairer for Canadian news media. So it has nothing to do with, Lauren Southern, the post millennial, the Rebel News or True North. These kind of, well, more right leaning libertarian. Like, I think Rebel News is quite heavily conservative. I don't think they mixed words with that. And to be fair, they call out both sides. They've called out conservatives, liberals, NDP. Mind you, NDP is the liberal part, or the NDP is like the little dog. There's a big dog and like, oh, where are we going? And he's just kind of walking around. And you have the little dog going around. Like, yeah, where are we going today, champ? Where are we going? And he's just kind of hopping around. He's like, yeah, you better not start anything with me, or my buddy Roscoe's gonna punch you in the dick.
Darn that Roscoe.
That's like what the NDP is. Like they actually have no legitimate platform.
Chihuahuas.
It's just woke racism. Just the barking of the 0.1% of the community, and the push for identity politics and yada yada. We don't need to get into that because that's all they got. They don't have actual solutions. Oh, what? Overturn Roe v. Wade? Oh, les gasp. I doth say they try to bring us back to the 1800s while you are pregnant. No, that's not what's going on. If it was, well, maybe there'd be a few little less whores. Ah!
Well, shit, there I go then.
No, but seeing that this is fundamentally fair for Canadian news media. So let's just break that down a little bit. So it either means Canadian news cannot compete with other news platforms, or they just want everyone to get paid the same regardless of how hard you work, how good you are at something. That's where I think they're going. That's my feeling. I know. I know. I I'm not, I don't have the sources of people familiar with Justin Trudeau's thinking. I don't have that. How about be the best? I don't know. Like I said, Lauren Southern does good work. She's a Canadian Oh, did you hear that? A female Canadian reporter.
Hold on. What color is she though?
Occasion,
Ah,
so
fuck.
yeah. So if the deals are made between digital platforms and news media within certain timelines that meet specific criteria, man, just generalities. If you can do the thing, maybe we'll figure something out. God, if you were any more general, you would most likely get Quaker. All right, so
Your face
we
froze
we
again.
have
After you said you're Quaker, you be Quaker. That face that you had, like froze like that for a while. It's fantastic.
so yeah, total minutes of hair. So we have this quick little post. So you know, House didn't debate it. There was no debate in this. Why? Oh, but they debated in order to talk about it. That was it. And then of course the NDP being the holsters they are for the Justin Trudeau woke party, they pushed it. Okay. You know what I find funny? Ha ha ha. Maybe ha. Maybe a little ha. Maybe a little ha ha.
Little hee hee.
Ah, was when Jagmeet got lambasted at a meeting or whatever, a little convention thing, and he was saying that it was the most violent, the most racist rhetoric, and it shows Canada's racism, systemic racism. Are you aware that most Sikhs don't support you? Like, you're in the minority here by a long stretch. Like, you're the minority of a minority. Like, it's I
Minority of a minority.
yeah, you're like a super minority. You're irrelevant. That's how much of a minority you are. But this is the only way that he seems that he can get this type of stuff pushed through. So this just seems another thing of government online control, another thing for the government to say that you're not allowed to criticize us in any way, shape, or form. So this will bring me to, well, in Canada, the gun ban is being revived. So we have this thing from CBC. So government tables a bill to limit handguns, pledges to buy back assault style weapons. I can anyone, can you please give me a fucking explanation on what an assault weapon is? Eh, like, please tell me. Tell me what an assault weapon is. Give me any. I don't understand what it is. You?
Yes, I do. It is. The term assault weapon is used in the United States to define different types of firearms. The definition varies among regulating jurisdictions, but usually includes semi automatic firearms with something.
What?
Hold on. Semi automatic firearms with detachable magazines, a pistol grip, and sometimes other features such as a vertical forward grip, flash suppressor, or barrel shroud. Certain firearms are specified by the name in some laws that restrict assault weapons. When the now defunct federal assault weapon ban was passed in 1994, the U.S. Department of Justice said, in general, assault weapons are semi automatic firearms with a large magazine of ammunition that were designed to configure for rapid fire and combat use. I think that's all we really need to say.
Does that even, that doesn't even make sense to me.
What do you
That
know?
that truly doesn't.
Well, they have a
Uh, A
AR-15.
semi-automatic. Of course they do. Of course they do. Because apparently AR is the big scary. I hate that I have to bring this up. AR is the name of the company that invented the gun. It has nothing to do with an assault. If you said an assault rifle, okay, I can understand that. But assault, because they use words interchangeably there. They said a semi-automatic, which means one trigger, one boom boom. That's what happens. So a handgun is a semi-automatic weapon. Most rifles are semi-automatic. You pull it once, and that's it. It go bang, one bang, one bang. So this vertical grip, a noise suppressor. I think like liberals and people that have like never shot a gun doesn't know what a silencer or a muzzle brake actually does.
Well, it said a flash suppressor. It didn't say noise suppressor. It was a flash suppressor.
But I'm saying aside from that,
I know.
because they think it's like like 007. It's like pew 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 pew. Like no, the fucking thing's still loud. It's just it's safer for your hearing because you can get ear damage from guns.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's look into this. So a new gun control legislation in the federal government tabled Monday includes a national freeze on the purchase, sale, importation, and transfer of handguns in Canada. Again, legal purchasing routes. The government also pledged to start buying back thousands of banned assault style weapons. I don't I don't get what word you're using. If you want to say semi-automatics, okay, then all handguns, most rifles, except for lever actions and shotguns. What do we need to go back that everyone can only have a muzzle loader? You know, you got to put the paper in, and you got to put the right amount of grain, and shove that down. And
Do you think that if I were to go to them with a pencil and be like, "Hi, I'm here to get this bought back, an assault
people
weapon,"
did
and
that.
people would be like, "But it's a pencil," I'd be like, "I just assaulted someone with it." And what's his name? John Wick. He's deadly with a pencil.
The funny thing is, when places did these types of gun buybacks, people just went to like the hardware store, were able to get like pipe, and then they'd put like a handle, or they'd weld like a handle on it, something that costs like $5 to make, and then they turn that in and then get like a couple $100 for it. Like,
Seriously?
yeah, yeah,
Oh
it's
my god.
ridiculous.
Well, I mean, they gave you an easy beat the system there. Apparently, holy hell.
It's just, but this is why, you know, ultimately, I think there are good people in the. I think overwhelmingly people want to do. All right, shut up, philosophy fuckers. Ultimately, they do want to do good. They want to limit harm. They want to limit danger. I can understand that. I can sympathize with that. Avaldi, perfect example. When good people get want to do something and people cannot. How do you stop a bad guy with a gun?
Stop or my mom will shoot. Say that. You think that'll work?
Maybe, just like, hey, that's illegal. You can't do that. I'll go, you know what? I never considered. I didn't even think about that.
Thank you. You Stuart,
Yeah,
stop.
I was gonna shoot up this school, but now that you told me that I had the wrong type of weaponry, that this is outlawed. You know what? I'll give it. I'll do a Hunter Biden. I'll just throw it in the dumpster. Okay. No one will ever see it. Okay.
I'm gonna wash.
Eh? Yeah. What kind of gun would you recommend in order to shoot up a school? Like,
Slingshot.
Sure.
spitball gun?
All right, so it continues with, so while the proposal falls short of a full ban on handguns, it would effectively limit their number in Canada. 86% of them are smuggled in illegally.
Just don't tell everybody
Like,
that because then the government won't have anything to hold over your head. It's not illegal. Shh.
like this is what I don't understand. And what bothers me the most, it's more the inability that this should, like, when I seen what happened in Uvalde with this shooter, how the police's inaction, their literal inaction cost people their lives. And this is where, like, if all police, if ACAB is a thing, and I posted this on Twitter, if all cops are bastards, all cops are bad, all cops are racist criminals, and they're just looking for a black guy to shoot, why? Why would you want to take those guns away from the people that can protect themselves from the racist, misogynist, and the ones that are just out black hunting? I I don't.
That would make too
Those
much
two
sense.
positions can't. Like, I don't understand how you can reconcile that. Right. I don't know even know if we need to play this video, but because it's basically him saying, yeah, that we're gonna, well, you know what? Let's just hear it from Blackface himself.
Yeah, okay.
So today, we're moving forward. We're introducing legislation to implement a national freeze on handgun ownership. What this means is that it will no longer be possible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere
I,
in
I don't
Canada.
I don't understand it.
In other words, we're capping the market for handguns.
Really? Why? Wait, like that's not a big assault rifle. Why would you ban all handguns?
As a further part of this new legislation, we're also fighting gun smuggling and trafficking by increasing maximum criminal penalties and providing more tools for law enforcement to investigate firearm crimes. And will require the permanent alteration of long gun magazines so they can never hold more than 5 rounds.
No
These
more
are
than
actions
5.
that doctors,
The
Yeah,
criminals will definitely listen to
police
that.
have been
100%.
calling for years. And we're
that's
acting
what I don't
on their
understand.
advice.
And like, again, if a woman is going to be assaulted, let's really talk about who this actually impacts. These types of things. Well, if police are under no obligation to protect you, if they are not willing to throw their life on the line in order to save someone, then who? What, you just let the assault happen? Just, oh well, he shouldn't have been wearing that dress. Sorry, skank, as you deserved it. Like, is that where we need to go? How does that make a community safer? Uh, I would love to hear, because I don't understand. You can't have pepper spray. You can't have mace. You can't have a taser. You have nothing to defend yourself. What, a rape whistle and the suggestion of piss yourself and shit on
I
yourself?
was totally just
That's
gonna
it?
say that. Yeah, 100%. You just blow that whistle, girl. You blow it. It's gonna save your life.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, the funny thing is I remember hearing because a very long time ago, my grandmother had given me like a little alarm thing, and it was this little box, and you'd pull the thing out, and it was essentially like a rape alarm whistle type thing, but without blowing it. Anyway, I had heard from somebody that it's actually more beneficial for you to yell fire because then people will come running. People generally will come running if they hear fire to try and help. If you actually start yelling rape or pull a rape whistle, people are going to run away. They're like, I ain't getting involved.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's continue with this. It like this bothers me to no end. Like it.
Yeah.
Like, please. please, I'm really trying to reconcile with this. So if it is supposed to make communities safer. If this is if we are ultimate, if this is the end goal where we can stop criminals, if that is something that we are aiming to do. Okay, so in this article it continues. So they include taking away firearms licenses from those involved in domestic violence. Okay, they already should be, or criminal harassment.
I agree with that.
Is that if I say like what you're like, oh, you're fat, is that like criminal harassment?
Yeah, I think they need to have a little more detail into that one because I think that can be speculated in many different ways. But I 100% agree with the domestic violence. If you're charged with that, then no, you shouldn't be able to have a weapon.
Okay, and then let's conclude with this little part. Increasing criminal penalties for smuggling and trafficking of firearms. Okay, that I would agree with. Increasing penalties. But you also repealed a fuck ton of laws because of because you thought that there's too many aboriginals and black people in prisons. All right, so what about this? A red flag law. That fucking terrifies me. A red flag law, which will require people deemed a threat to themselves or others to turn in their firearms to law enforcement. Who who picks that red flag law?
That's what I would
A
like to know.
pissed off ex-wife? Is it maybe a psychiatrist? Is it your neighbor? Like who?
Doctor?
What if yeah, if they say, "Hey, he's on a medication," well, you know what? All their guns are belong to the state now.
See, that part that doesn't agree with me. Like I know with like say with your license, like if you have some sort of medical condition or you were brought to the hospital due to a heart attack or whatever, like generally speaking, your doctor notifies um the driver licensing place. Like they notify them and then they have to do evaluations and stuff like that to see if you can keep your license because your license might be taken away if you're deemed a potential threat in that way, like if it's bad for you. So I mean, I can understand that. So yeah, I would like to know exactly who these things would be coming from. Like it's one thing if it's coming from a doctor or a psychiatrist or something like that. It's a whole nother thing if it's like you said, an ex-wife or a neighbor, a pissed off neighbor. Eh, yeah.
Or okay, think of this crazy scenario because I know you liberals, you leftists, I know you love to push these types of the extreme scenarios, the absolute edge cases. Well, no one ever gets a 9-month pregnancy. If they're sticking to 9 months, they're obviously going to give birth to the child. If someone is going to be transitioning, of course it needs to be someone that's under the age of 2 because they can already identify that they're transsexual. So that we need to have laws in order to protect that.
You need
Okay.
laws to stop that.
But here's your extreme scenario. Your neighbor absolutely hates you, wish you were dead, is looking for a reason to kill you, but they know that you have guns. So they make a complaint that, oh, I heard that my neighbor was screaming and it looked like they were having a psychotic episode, and I heard that they were beating the fuck out of their wife. So is that the red flag? Is that enough for the officer or some law enforcement to enforce this with? How do they enforce this? Oh, people with guns. People with guns come to you and say, "Give me your guns," or else. That seems like a pretty good reason in order for you to keep them. But this is the extreme situation. Okay, so your neighbor phone says that you're psychotic, you beat the fuck out of your woman, and you brandish the gun because you know that they have guns. And now your neighbor comes over and says, "Oh well, now that I know that they don't have guns, bang, bang, bang. Oh, I had to shoot them in self defense. I tried to run away, and they came into my house and just this elaborate Amber Heard story."
I
Okay,
totally
now
just
what?
thinking of her too. Yeah, 100%.
Like, it would also increase the maximum penalty for offenses under the law, such as illegally owning, acquiring, or manufacturing a firearm for 10 years imprisonment to 14 years. Okay, but again, government wants to eliminate mandatory minimums, which to an extent I can understand. and in certain situations, nonviolent drug offenses, I think, again, prostitution, I think should 100% be legal. I know, super conservative, right?
Yeah,
But
100%. You know what I
but
don't
but
understand?
the
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
no, no, go ahead.
Um, for me, what I don't get is the handguns. Like, I can understand, I can attempt at understanding why someone wouldn't want something that goes like rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. You know what I mean? Like, did you like my gun sound there? But I can
That's gay as
understand.
hell.
I know. Yeah. Sorry. I ain't no gangsta. But I don't. I can understand that. You know the bang 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 bang. But a handgun. I that's what I don't understand.
Okay, again, another extreme scenario. 3 gang members, 3 gangbangers bust into your house, and you have no way of defending yourself. I understand I'm looking at more from the American side because in Canada, you cannot defend yourself. You can't. Even though someone comes in with brandishing most likely a handgun, which was smuggled in illegally. Oh, but I know if you tell them, they'll just run away.
Well,
I
no, no,
mean,
put it
I'll
down.
phone the cops.
But hey, isn't that gun illegal? Ah, shit, she caught me. All right, we're out. Peace.
But so okay, so five shots. So obviously, this is something they want to make it very clear. You are not capable of defending yourself. Uvalde should be in everyone's mind of when the ones with guns chose to do nothing, where they put more effort into arresting the parents than stopping a psychotic gunman. That that's the that's the big, strong, and powerful. And I obviously I don't think all cops are like this. But if a whole department is like this, and again, if they keep pushing the idea of it's a cop's job to get home safe every day, what do you sign up for? If you will not protect the community, then how am I supposed to protect myself? Like who who's gonna save me? Like if there's no one to phone, what do I do? Just sit there and take it?
You tell them no.
Yeah, I said no. Mm, I don't consent.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just start yelling. I do not consent.
Jesus. All right, so Mendocino, the guy that wishes he was totally straight, but we know what's up with you. Confirmed the government would be proceeding with a mandatory buyback. Do you, with a mandatory buyback. That's what they did in Australia. Look how that went for them. Look how that went for the UK, where they were literally able to say, you stay at home, you leave, you go anywhere, well, you get sent to a concentration camp. So for over 1,500 assault style weapons, again, if they would have said like a semi-automatic handgun, okay, but 1,500 assault style weapons, the government banned 2 years ago, including the AR-15. Okay, so
Such a popular gun,
again,
that one.
this makes no sense to me. Because what they can purchase something else. If someone's going to commit a crime, they're not going to look up the laws and regulations in which guns that they can carry.
They're not going to give a shit because they're either going to get away with it or they're not going to get away with it. And if they're not going to get away with it, it's not going to matter what gun they have. They're going to be in jail. So what do they care?
Again, the overwhelming majority of gun violence in Canada is through gangs. How about how about deal with that? I know the government has a real hard time with stuff like that, like actually solving the problem. They're really good at taking your money and funneling into a fucking shithole Ukraine country. I know they're really good at that, or giving your money to their cocksuckers up in the World Health Organization or the WEF. I know that they love to give money to everyone else but the people that actually pay the fucking bills here. I know it's hard for them. And then you tell them, we are going to disarm you. We're going to disarm you so that when we say racialized communities, or you know what? Let's just look at this. So Indigenous adults represent 5% of the Canadian population, but 30% of federal prisoners, double what was 20 years ago, and the figure is even higher in some provinces. Black Canadians account for 3% of the population, but 7.2% of federal offenders. So let's not talk about the real issues. Again, I've brought up typically Aboriginals. Okay, so sorry, we had to do a bit of a stop there. Um, so let's look at Indigenous adults represent 5% of the Canadian population, but 30% in prison system. Black people make up 3%, but yet 7.2% in are in prisons. Why don't we look at dealing with those types of problems? Again, the the disparity of in I'm sure people that are in these poor communities probably don't want less cops. In fact, I think, call me crazy, but I think they would actually want more police in order so that their children don't get recruited into gangs. I would say the overwhelming majority, where they're forced to live on a reserve, or where they have no economic opportunity, no chance to actually produce something and to become a contributing member of society.
I agree.
Black Canadians, I would say probably a very equal thing. And listen to this last little part. So with the federal government is looking at to repeal mandatory minimum penalties for drug offenses and some gun-related crimes. Oh, but you just said earlier, guns are bad. They're the root of all evil. Guns are killing everyone and anything that walks. But now we're lowering gun crime in certain sectors, like like, so like with handguns. But listen to this. Listen to the wokeness that has permeated our government. If you haven't heard it yet, so it would allow a judge to exercise discretion, imposing sentences that relate on the facts of the case, including considerations of the individual's experience with systemic racism.
I'm so sick of hearing this. I really am. Like it's like everything that we talk about somehow circles back to that.
Yeah. Their experience with systemic racism. Again, it's like the government creates the problem, put them on reserves, make sure that poor people are congregated in these small areas. Don't try to give them any types of help. Don't try and, you know, boost them up in terms of economic opportunity, maybe school choice, maybe the shitty schools that they live in, maybe not taxing them into absolute poverty on the verge of homelessness, where they can't even afford to purchase food. We talk about, well, kids they need good food for a good start. Well, you just forced more people into poverty. Like, if you want to push, for renewable energy and all this stuff, and if you want to be serious on it, by all means, if that's what you're gonna do, then to see like, hey, this is what's happening. Sorry, some people aren't gonna make it the winter. That's what's going to happen. So why don't we address those real problems where the government actively incentivizes broken homes, where a government actively incentivizes keeping people of certain colors in certain areas. And if you think I'm joking, you should look at where a lot of communities seem to kind of form. But let's not talk about that. Let's just say guns are bad, guns are evil, even though you are more likely to be shot by a cop than you are to be shot by someone that actually has a legal gun. That's what I find so disingenuous with this stuff. I find it embarrassing. And again, Evaldi should be up on everyone's mind. The cops didn't go there to protect the children that were there. If you're not going to, then why are you there? You're just a fucking roadblock preventing someone from actually willing to sacrifice themselves in order to protect their family or protect their community. So if you can't do it, you have the guns, you have the body armor, you're supposed to have the monopoly on force. But when someone calls you 8, 9, 10 times saying, "Police, come help me, police, come help," that's what we are all told. That's what we tell our kids. If you have a problem, phone the police. If you need help, you can go to a police officer.
Yeah.
What does that reinforce? What does that reinforce? I am now defenseless. I have no way of defending myself or my family in anywhere in Canada. Again, cannot carry pepper spray, cannot carry a taser. You can't even carry can't gun. Called a great equalizer. If you really are committed on tougher gun laws, make safer communities, you sound like fucking conservative. You sound like. But in, if you wanted to talk about safer communities, why don't you actually do stuff to make these communities safe? I don't know why this is.
Because that would make more sense, right? Like, oh, even that story about that one of the teachers who got killed in Uvalde. Like, I wanted to talk about this in the last podcast. I'm not gonna go lots on it, but a teacher had gotten killed, and her husband, who was not a teacher nor was he in the school, ended up dying. It was like a day and a half later, something like that, due to a broken heart. Like, it just, oh my god, it broke my heart reading about that. It just reminded me of Johnny Cash and June Carter. It was so sad.
But so this is what really bothers me. So you want to talk about? I don't remember what I was saying, but so with regards to that, so if you really want, I think if you really want to make communities safer, people should be able to defend themselves. How does a rape whistle? How does that? Because it's the expectation that now someone else, like again, if the cops have no obligation in order to protect you, and then the citizens need to have some type of way for them to defend themselves, and it's not vomiting and pissing or shitting on themselves.
Yeah, that was
Like
really bad advice. It really was. That's nasty.
that- it, it's like outside of being raped, is that not like super degrading? Like that is your only
100%.
recourse. So this is why I think in order to try and actually solve these problems, we need to have serious conversations that there are bad people out there really are.
Yeah.
And when the police or when someone in an official capacity refuses to act, then what? We just let those 19 people die? We let 21 people, like how many is enough? How many is enough for people to say, "Okay, you know what, cops, you're not really upholding the oath that you swore to protect and serve your community."
Yeah.
And again, I don't think in absolutes. I don't think in an absolute binary way. I think there are good people, and I think there are officers that try to do their best to actually uphold and be a part of their community. Absolutely. But when there are ones that refuse to do it, and you are a slave to them. You are begging and pleading, "Please help me." 9 phone calls, nothing, and it's off duty to bust in and finally gun the fucker down.
Yeah, but remember that was discredited. It wasn't an off-duty cop.
Yeah, there was an off duty. It was a border agent supposedly had come in and helped. That I'm hearing a lot of conflicting of whether it was or it wasn't,
I
or
know.
if the 19 officers finally made entry. And this, I don't know. It's so conflicting.
Yeah.
It's such a conflicting, but they sure as fuck got their kids out of there.
Yeah.
That's more bothersome.
Agreed.
No, and this is truly this is what I want people to be safe. If you want to talk about safer communities, we need to address those type of problems. We really do.
Yeah.
That there are bad people that are going to do terrible things. Oh, How do you call for help when you can't?
Exactly that.
Just
Yeah.
let the assault happen?
Apparently.
Uh,
Say
I don't
no.
know. This is what I'm a big proponent of preservation because I don't think anyone is under any obligation to defend. Well, normally you wrap it up.
Well, you weren't done talking yet. Okay. Sorry, guys. We had to pause again. So we're obviously we got ourselves a little confuzzled here. So anyway, just wanted to thank everybody for taking the time out to listen to some things that we had to say. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe because it makes me feel good. It makes me jump up and down like a little schoolgirl. And hope everyone has a great hump day. Meow, chicka, wow, wow. And we will catch you again tomorrow. All right. Be safe and remember, say, I do not consent. That's what's going to save you now. Don't forget. Bye, guys.